Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Contact Loss podcast covering the WTC. Today, I'm your host, Joker, and with me, I've got my son, who I think no longer needs to be introduced by saying he's not my son, it's just his nickname, because I think now, after the event, his name is pretty well known across the community. So, hi, mate, and good to have you.
Hello. So I hope that we'll not have to explain this joke anymore.
Yes, it stopped being funny long ago. Anyway, good to have you. Congrats on the second place finish, first of all. And to begin, I think let's just start with what's your take of the event itself? How it was organized, etc. Not necessarily, from the point of view of how your games went and all that gaming jazz.
Yeah. So okay. The first thing I would like to say is that that was my first WTC. So I'm kind of a new person, new player in a team. So at first, of course, I was a little bit stressed about the event, about playing there, and so on and so on. Then I came to the place, and everything was very, very good. It was very impressive at the place. So basically, I was. Uh, the event itself was very big. There are a lot of players there, and I like the organization there very much because yeah, every team was kind of professionally prepared for the event. Uh, and this is something new for me because the other international events I attended, it was my more like events for fun, for some yeah, lightweight competition, just something to play to test. And this is the main event, and everything was very professional from the first impression I got on place. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, of course,
Okay, that's
there.
cool.
Yeah, of course, there was the mm, distress and but after the first games, it was the stress just was gone, and I fall in this mood of playing, and until the end of the event itself.
All right, well, that's good to hear. I mean, I think I touched upon this in the episode of Bomba that, well, our community had some doubts about the event itself, but glad to hear that it was actually really, really good from an organizational point of view. Right, so you were one of the selectors for the team. So, if you got, are you satisfied with the result? Hopefully, yes. And are you happy with how the team performed and how and how you've prepared, etc.?
Uh, Basically, the short answer is yes. Yes, I'm happy with the result because this is as I said, it was my first event as a player, but also the first event as a selector. So it was quite challenging, especially for me because I didn't know what to exactly expect from such an event, and what to expect from players that I select for being in the team. But of course, two other selectors helped in this matter. So Typhus and Duda was there to take care about this particular skill that everyone needs to have there. Uh, so the second place is a very good achievement, at least for me. but of course, everyone wants to aim as high as possible. So I wanted to win, and unfortunately, we didn't manage to do that in the last round. But overall, if somebody asked me before the event, would I take the second place? Yeah, I would say, yeah, of course. It's and we scored this second place after playing the very skilled teams. So after very challenging matchups, after challenging pairings, and very good after beating very good players. So yeah, basically, I'm happy.
Yeah, it was definitely not an easy run. Right, let's go into your games then. So first up, you played a mirror in the Belgium matchup, if I remember correctly.
Yes, this was Belgium, Liam and his Harlies. It was a mission 1-3, so data scry something with 4 markers in the middle. So the mirror matchups are always very challenging, and it was my first game at the WTC, and I already knew Liam, and I knew that he's a very skilled player, and he knows what he needs to do to win the game. We played before on TTS in one tournament during Greek Hammer, but it was a different metagame. So basically, I came to the game a little bit stressed. He got a slightly different list from mine because mine was based. My list was based on a spam of star rivers, so just 8 boats with 8 troops and some supporting characters. Liam decided to went for only 6 boats, but he got more players and two small squads of bikes. So this the game, if you want to play for points, for scoring, and for capturing objectives, it's quite easier for his list in the mirror matchup because he got this. For example, two bikes can easily capture the objective from a boat, and I need to actually put 3 boats on the objective to not get primary points tonight. So I knew that this would be a very challenging matchup. We started the game by deploying defensively. So basically, in this kind of matchup, you don't want to risk. So you want to play deploy defensively. We decided to go for very similar secondaries. We both played Deadly Performance behind enemy lines, and I selected Banners, and he selected Retrieve Nephilim data because he got more units to do this secondary. Unfortunately, he started the game. So in my opinion, it's in the mirror matchup. It's better to start the game because you can just use your mobility to take better position on the board. You can just control the. You don't want to go very aggressively in the first turn. You want to deploy on the objectives, on a small number of objectives, but have a good position for the second aggressive turn. Yeah, so basically he did that. So I cannot counter his setup. I needed to also decide to go for some kind of very passive play. So I went on quite similar mirrored his movement on my side of the board, but with some slight differences. I decided to go with one boat to his deployment zone to start scoring deadly performance and behind enemy lines in my first turn. I managed to do that with a Fire and Fade because he allowed me to shoot his bikes. Also, this boat was kind of a bait because you cannot easily dispose the boat in the Harlequins boats by not committing a lot of firepower. Because it could be just something. It can roll his saves, and basically you need to overcommit on the one boat. And the single boat later on will be can still do the secondary stuff. He played it right, so he deployed his two psychers to smite my boat, and then some small shooting just to finish if the smite went very wrong, then he's got some backup shooting. But this allowed me to have two of his psychers exposed. So he played also passively. He pushed two balls on my side of the board, and this was he passed the turn to me, and also then I needed to think of for a while and decide what to do. Either I can play on this stage. Either I can play defensively. Also, in a passive game, then I probably will lose something like a 13-7 or something like that. Or I can push all of my boats to the front because he exposed his two psychers, and I can manage to shoot two or three player troops with my boats. So it was kind of doable to do a lot of damage to his Harlies in this turn. So I decided to go for that. I managed to kill two of his boats and 2.5 of bike squad, 2.5 of player squads, and one psyker was gone from my shooting and mortal wounds. So it went very well for me. There was like a couple of mistakes here from my side. I could have pushed a little even more aggressively by, for example, charging some of his boats with my boat, but in the end it was a small impact to the game plan. So after two turns of passive moving on the board, we now got the something like a bloodbath in his deployment zone. So even if he went first, I managed to get the position to strike first in his deployment zone. Of course, he mirrored my movement. He struck my deployment zone. And basically, we exchanged with deployment zone with each other, so we can score the deadly performance and behind enemy lines very easy in a very easy way. Yeah, so remaining 3 turns was like I was hunting him. He was pushing me to my deployment zone, dropping my banners. I deployed banners in his objectives, and it ended in a draw in the end. So, of course, I managed to basically kill most of his Harleys, but in this edition, killing the army doesn't mean nothing. You need to score points, and he played a very wise and a very good game here. So it ended in the end. It ended into a draw. So it's actually a very good result for this matchup because for both teams it's acceptable, I believe. Basically, regarding this matchup, So Harley's mirror, in my opinion, it's kind of a gamble because of course it's both sides got got arguments, so got easy secondaries, and draw is something like expected value from this matchup, but it can go in really both directions. So you can easily make just if one of the players make a single small mistake, then it can go into even a 20-0 result in the end. And of course, this is a 4-up invul rolling on both sides, so you can just be lucky or be unlucky, and this also matters in this matchup. But I really like this matchup, and this game was very very good for me. I managed to also get in mood for playing because it was a really harsh warm up. So very important game from the beginning and very challenging. So from this game to the end of the tournament, my brain was working on 100%.
So that's good. So that's good, and it definitely paid off. Looking at the results you got further on, we forgot about one thing. You didn't tell me about, or well, because I didn't ask, but you didn't tell me about the list and the reasoning behind it. So if you want to spare a minute or two to just mention that now.
Yeah, so let's go back to this topic. I mentioned that I was playing with 8 boats with no bikes, and this is the main difference to the other Harlequins list in the tournament. Why 8 boats? Because this particular build gave me a slight advantage to 2 very crucial matchups in the pairing process. So the first was playing versus Tau, because if you got this 8 bolts and this mobility, you can probably make a very high score against the Tau. Regardless of the Tau build, it should be very easy to get a lot of points from this matchup. And Tau tends to play with the bombers or the flyers. So the more bolts we get on the board, the more safe players are. So basically, this is some kind of reasoning here. And the second matchup from which this list was dedicated to play against was all the Craft Walls Hail of Doom style lists, which appeared to be very popular during the tournament. Basically, the more boats you have, the more it's the more difficult for the Hail of Doom a lot of shots list is to destroy the boats, open the boats, and then they usually don't have the shooting to get rid of the troops inside. And for these 2 particular matchups, when I need to go for a very aggressive game with Harleys, the 8 boats list was very good and was very well suited for playing. Also, the other thing that I decided to go was to put the Troop Master with Cegorach Rose, so the relic Kiss weapon, instead of the very popular Storied Sword build. This was basically the reasoning behind it was to put the Ignore Invuls on Troop Master. So on 5-up 2 wounds, the attack ignore invulnerable saves on to the opponent, and I got rerolls from the Cegorach rolls itself. So I can easily score these 5-ups to different targets. And of course, it's also damage free. So basically, two of these wounds without invulns can easily dispose the, for example, first year. And Neurotrop is kind of a dead model with the Troop Master touches it, and many more targets, which, yeah, I need to dispose early with Troop Master to get the right points from the matchup. So that was reasoning behind it. There's also two DJs, so Death Jesters in my list. One was with Rift Ghoul, and the second one was the Lord of Crystal Bones, so ignore Overwatch and -2 to movement. This was just an utility to threaten the characters on the other side, to do some to ignore Overwatches. For example, against Tau, it's okay, and -2 to movements also for some tricks and reducing the threat range of the opponent models.
Okay, yes. So that Troop Master interested me. So basically, the idea for it was to trade it in for a sensible buffer on the other side. Sensible, more like some crucial character.
Yeah, so basically, this model is for hunting the opponent characters, which are crucial to their game plan. For example, first years. Neurotrop in the Tyranids lists. Also in the mirror matchup, it's very good, because when you ignore invulns on the Harlequins, then basically the Harlequins models are dead. So, for example, I just need two wounds to dispose the bolt, to open the bolt on the other side. So. The Troop Master, of course, got this standard set of war traits. So Foot in the Future gave me an opportunity to get the auto charges on basically every target I wanted to.
Okay, so that's that, and but in terms of team composition, what was the role of the Harlies? Killing Hail of Doom and getting high scores against them.
Yeah, basically the role was to kill Hail of Doom, kill Tau, and of course to play other matchups, which yeah, but this too was particularly important in the pairings process. So we got this. We are feeling safe because we got this one counter, and usually the opponents didn't really expect it, that this is such a big counter for Hail of Doom. But let's come to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Okay. So game number 2, it was against Denmark.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And what did you come up against?
Okay, so opponent got Drukhari, kind of a Drukhari good stuff build, like we all know. So this was 2 times grotesques, 3 times incubis, frags, Hellions, some bikes to score objectives, and a set of characters to support it. We played a mission 11, so it was a very defensive mission here. The opponent got very limited shooting, so just 2 raiders with lances. So I was feeling pretty much safe in my deployment zone. I deployed partly defensively, partly offensively. The opponent decided to went very offensively. Basically, this was a main reason that he lost his game, because he started the game and he decided to go in this pairing for aggressive play. So he went with one grotesque rag squad and the raider and bags to the front to score engage on all fronts, and exposed the whole set of these units for my shooting. After seeing that, from my side, the decision was one: just go forward with everything I've got and shoot. If I manage to kill this exposed units, then basically the game is over, because the opponent got no arguments to play. Also, I focused firstly on one flank, so this is the flank that he got very limited range, threat range from these other units. From his side, I rolled very well. Here I managed to kill the raider with just 2 Malta shots, so I got 1 free shooting to the Incubite squads, and basically the game was over at this point. Of course, he tried to do some damage to me. He managed to kill 2 bolts, but in my second turn, basically, I was already in his deployment zone. His objective hidden in his deployment zone, so I think that there's no bigger story behind this game. I asked my opponent why he decided to go for this, and he admitted that he was not playing this matchup very much before the tournament. So it just but it was still a very nice game and very nice opponent. We talked about this matchup after playing the game, because this is one of the matchups that Drukhari needs to put the whole army on the defensive, and just to expose 1 unit or 2, just to put them on the objectives and deny the 12 primary from my side, and play as a counter, not try to push or just a part of his army to the front, because everything he pushes forward, then this unit just dies to my shooting.
Oh, not that long ago, that pairing was totally different and the opposite. But, well, time goes on.
This pairing? So you mean the Harlequins versus Drukhari?
Yeah, before the Harlies got Codex, I think
was.
And at the height of power of Drukhari, which, now it seems very long ago. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember very very well the times that Drukhari's just fought with Admec for first place, first and second place, and then there was just nothing but these 2 armies.
Yep. All right. Anyway, and the final game of day 1 against Switzerland, you've played against Sisters of Battle, which I think you know very well. So, how did that go?
Yeah. So basically, this was the 3rd game in the first game of the tournament. So first day of the tournament. So I was very tired at this stage. it was very challenging to play the 3 games in a row, especially on the highest possible skill level. But to the game itself, the system build was pretty much standard. 3 times Zephyrs, 3 times Repentias, 1 time Retributor Squad, 1 time Castigator. The mission was tool-free, so kind of a mission that is actually good for sisters, because the sisters can easily score 10 from his secondary with the Sacred Grounds, and 12 to 15 from the Sacred Shrine. So basically, it's very easy to score those points. This was kind of also a matchup that I tested a couple of times before the tournament. I knew that after the most recent changes in the Nephilim update, that I need to play with caution in this matchup. I don't want to risk a very aggressive play to the front against sisters, because they suddenly the sisters got a lot of more models and on board than before the updates, and sisters also got a very good secondaries to score. They don't need to expose themselves to score points. And this is something big, because I need to play a different game than before the updates. So the opponent started the game, so I already knew that he will score like a 10 from the points from his Sacred Grounds, and probably it will be 12 from the Sacred Shrine, because I will manage to get this from the in the last turn. He started the game basically. He didn't have any range for to do any harm to my boats. Gave a turn to me. I started to deploy also just on the 2 objectives. I put 2 bolts in the middle ruin, just for the next turn to go to his deployment zone. Then decided to push one. He made a small mistake. He exposed his priest that was doing the action. So I could get this priest with 1 boat. So I decided to go for to put 1 empty boat for shooting this priest, trying to kill that priest, and then to move with Fire and Fate move to his deployment zone to score behind the Majson and deadly performance. So unfortunately I failed to kill this priest, but still I got points from the from my secondaries. Then his turn was very crucial here, because he needed to do something about my boats and to use some of his reserve unit already in the second turn, so he got the something for third turn. He got the miracle dice for auto charges from deep strikes. But I managed to make a screen in a way that I can still control the objective after moving from the light stratagem. When he declares the charge on me, then I can move the unit 6 inches. So basically, if he declares the charge from deep strike on 9 inches, I move just 4 inches away. You can declare charge on me. And I tried to do it in a way so he didn't have a good 2 targets to charge on. So when he decided to deploy one of his units to charge me, I just moved away. And still, I was on the objective, so I scored my primary points later on. He decided to do that because he needed to do something with one of his squads. He decided to push one Repentia squad from the Rhino for the middle boat, and the Celestine, of course, on the other flank went for me to try to kill at least something. In my, of course, he opened one boat with Repentias. I deployed on the objective, so I scored 12 points basically, and Celestine fails to kill the boat. Zephyrins from deep strikes just stayed where they deep striked after not having a good target to charge. So this was a very good situation for me because I basically got three of his units exposed, and I lost just one boat. So it was a
very good trade-off.
Very good trade-off for me. So this was a turn that I decided to not go with full offensive because it's still not something to do in this pairing. I got a very nice opportunity to start denying his primaries. So the troops that escaped the boat in the middle went to deny his one primary point, and also tried to do behind the lines and deadly performance, of course. On the other side, I focused on the Celestine just to kill her for sure for the first time. Unfortunately, I failed. He basically denied on 6 a lot of my psychic powers, so I managed only to kill her in the shooting. I didn't have any good close combat squads to kill her. So just the troop master, which I didn't remember. It was like 2 or 4 wounds to the Celestine. So she was left on 2 or 4 after my turn. But basically, the situation on the board was very good for me. I was still screened for his third turn. I started to deny his primaries, and I was 2 combat squads ahead of him. And then from the next turn on, I can just push all the boats forward because he wouldn't have any deep strikes, and it was very, very convenient for the situation for me. And basically, this was it. So he didn't have any option to counter this my play. So the game was pretty much stable at this point. I was quite lucky because one of the balls that was sent to score deadly performance survived somehow. It survived like a 2 Melta shots, entire castigator, all the small shots from the sisters, battle sisters, novitiates, and the canoness, and then survived the combat with canoness. So this was a one lucky boat which survived, scored. Then this boat blocked his castigator just in the middle of the board, in the corner of the board, so the castigator cannot move and cannot even fall back from my boat. This wasn't that much impactful because I believe the castigator is not that important in this matchup. It was, but yeah, I just managed to block the one model from and still score my secondary points with some luck on my side. In the end, the result was 15-5 for me. And from my opinion, the opponent just decided to go for too defensive, to play too defensively. For example, his Retributor squad didn't shot for an entire game. They were hidden in his ruin, and when I play around it, then he just don't give me. He didn't give me a chance to fail my saves from Eldars. So this was the first thing. The second thing was in the third, for example, in the third turn, he should have decided to go with one of the Zephyrin squads back to the Deep Strike, just to have something for his fourth turn to deploy in my backfield, because it was doable, and it would have blocked me from going with all balls to the front, and all small mistake that was made. So, for example, enabling me 12 primary points, sacrificing Zephyrin squad for 1 CP was just unnecessary, in my opinion, in this matchup. Basically, on this mission, it should be like 13-7 to me from the estimations.
Okay, so you got 2 more points. Good, well done. And that was the last game of day 1. So how did you feel, apart from being super tired?
Actually, I don't remember the feeling. It was so exhausting. We finished playing after 10, so it was really, yeah. We went to the hotel just to talk a little bit about the matchups and the matchup that we all facing tomorrow, the next day. So, and then just went to sleep.
Okay, well then let's jump into day 2 and Germany and your first Hail of Doom matchup.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, the opponent got the pretty much standard Hell of Doom list: 3 times Avengers, 10 Hawks, of course, Baharot, Serpents, and some other good stuff from the Craft Rules Codex. The opponent was very happy that he received this pairing, and he expected that he should win. And for some reason, he decided to deploy quite aggressively. He left 10 Dire Avengers in the open, all of his Ranger squads in the open, and also 2 Walkers in the open. So basically, he selected the table and deployed. It was not that in the open. In the open, I mean the open when I move 22 inches from my deployment zone. So my
Okay.
Yeah, but
It's
for
a good
me,
thing you added that, because then it doesn't sound that ridiculous.
Yeah, Dire Avengers were in the open in the one of the vents, but he explained later on when I asked why he did that. He explained to me that he wanted to bait me out from my deployment zone. But okay, I start the game and I was so convinced that he will use the Phantasm to just move back his Dire Avengers, and I ask him to do his Phantasm, and then I will start the turn and even switch the clock on his side. And he told me that no, I'm not doing that, and it was quite surprising. I thought that then he explained that it was a bait, so obviously I took it. So I just played this aggressively, put the 2 bolts that were on one flank, and the other bolts I managed to put defensively, so they can actually shoot something, but be safe from the shooting from his deployment zone. Only 2 bolts were quite exposed, but not to his 20 die Avengers that were hidden in his range, but all the other shooting and plucky bars. I managed to kill 2.5 Ranger squads, the 10 Dire Avengers, and 2 Walkers there. So it was quite a big for me just to start with the advantage of just disposing one third of his main threat, so 10 Dire Avengers. He was happy for some reason, and decided to go for me. He needed to actually sacrifice the swooping hawks, shining spears, banshees, and Bahart. Of course, Bahart will jump later on to the safety, but he needed to put these 4 units to just kill 2 of my boats. And then when I was disembarking, I managed to disembark in a way so banshees cannot reach the players without rolling the 11 on 2d6 for charge. Just the 3 shining spears were able to get to me. So basically, even he didn't kill 2 bolts with the players inside. He managed to kill just 2 bolts and a half of a squad, player squad. So it was a very big for me. He also made the other mistake here. He put wave serpent. He decided to put 1 wave serpent with 10 Dire Avengers inside on the other flank to the objective. He wanted to block my because this was mission with priority targets, mission 33. So he wanted to block my priority markers. So I needed to sacrifice something to score the 3 points for 3 additional points from primaries. But he also puts this wave serpent near the edge of the table. So in my turn, I managed to, with just 2 bolts, 2 empty bolts, and a Death Jester, which was there to capture the objective. I managed to block this wave serpent in a way so cannot disembark from this transport. So basically, it was a 10 Dire Avengers given me for free, because I already knew that this Dire Avengers probably will not disembark from this transport at the end of the game. Even if he managed to get rid of 1 bolt and after 3 times, for example, 3 turns, then it would be fine. But it's very probable that just this 10 Dire Avengers will not have impact on the game to the end. And on the other flank, of course, I managed to kill the Shining Spears, Banshees, and all the stuff which was there. So I had a very good situation here. I made a small mistake with trying to kill the Shining Spears for my Troop Master. Because I got 2 charges to do, so Troop Master to Shining Spears and 5 players to Dire Avengers, and I decided to start with players just to try to bait 2 CPs for interruption from him, because I got 2 luck rerolls. I got some also a CP reroll for Troop Master to survive, and this 2 CPs was very crucial later on. It was kind of a mistake because okay, I killed the Dire Avenger squad with the 5 players, but then the Shining Spear, just 1 Shining Spear, which was left after the shooting, managed to kill the troop master with just mortal wounds. So it was quite big for me. But I baited this to CP, so it was some kind of a trade-off, but not in my favor. I shouldn't have done that. Here I just should have just put more shooting to this last shining spear, which was more safe than just leaving troop master here. And troop master would probably then be just in the field in the open, but the opponent didn't have any shooting to actually do anything to the troop master. But nevertheless, after my second turn, basically all three squads of Dire Avengers were gone. The only threat that remains was Psychers and the Swooping Hawks, and I believe the Bahart was also alive at this stage. But it was a very, very huge advantage on board for me. Also, I managed to just deny to ritual 2 times. So it was it was a very good situation for me. On the third turn, I managed to deny it one more time. So I was very lucky with denying the ritual from him. But basically, the game was controlled by me just to the end, and nothing happened. Of course, the Dire Avengers were inside the transport in the end of the game. Just then I just needed to put the 3 bolts, not 2, and he tried to escape from this trap. But it was quite funny to catch the wave serpent with the boats. Also, while trying to position the boats so they can still score some points, and yeah, it was nice. Basically, the result was 17-3 for me.
Yeah, but with such a pro gamer move involved, that's I guess quite satisfactory, especially that yeah, you guys seem to have been the only team to figure it out that Harlies go into Hail of Doom quite well, and yeah, this is the first time that it really paid off.
Yeah, and there's just one win condition here. You have to just switch off your brain and just move forward and kill the Craftful Elves, Hail of Doom, or whatever they are. Just kill them and don't think about this game. Because if you start thinking, start to play this smartly, then you will lose, because the Elves Craftfuls get a lot of options, a lot of tools to just deny for example, single boat with players inside and the character inside. This can be just killed with in a very easy way by Craftful Elves from the objective. But if I push all 8 boats to the front, there's no way that they will win this. I believe that it is called TPS check right now.
All right, moving on to the next game, French Necrons.
Yeah, so French Necrons, and it was a Necrons without Silent King, so something which is quite different, but it's a very interesting and tricky list from my perspective. These Necrons were included 3 annihilation barges, so he actually got some very nice shooting that can that are very good into my boats and players. So a lot of Tesla shots, which can get very lucky, and also the planes, one transport with the trick that the transport can be moved and something from the strategic reserves can be deployed just in front of the enemy. So very easy charge after moving like 50 inches by plane. And the Doom sight for some heavy shooting. So basically, I was surprised by the enemy. I also before the game I checked his results. He also played Liam, and he managed to win with Liam 11-9. So I was curious here that I knew that he got a plan for this game. I knew that and was aware of that. But still, I was quite surprised because he went for his secondary chain selection. He selected assassination instead of 3 times the Necron stuff, and because this was also one of the pairings that I sometimes decide to go for engage on all fronts instead of behind enemy lines, just not overcommit early, and also to try to deny purge the vermin from the Necrons. But he decided not to go for the purge the vermin, but decided to go for assassination. So it was quite interesting choice. Here, I already knew at this stage that we got pretty much very good pairings on other tables, so I didn't need to push here for a big result. My estimation was something around the draw. Because of his shooting and of course the Necrons very skill intensive secondaries. So my estimation was a draw here. I started the game and decided to go for defensive play. I must admit that probably it was not a good selection to go for a defensive game if I start the game. But still, I decided to go for that because the estimations from other tables were very good, so I just needed to deliver a draw. So I decided to put to just hold on and play this defensively, not like the game of the Hail of Doom. I have put the one boat on the objective in the middle, then they pushed one boat for doing the deadly performance in the first turn, and then just waited for the enemy. And the entire game was like I tried to score my deadly performance and engage on all fronts here, and the opponent just pushes, maneuvers his annihilation barges to try to kill my bolts. I was quite unlucky with the charges, and so there were some points in the game that I failed to score engage because I needed to roll a charge to get the entire unit that for the engage points. There was also I couldn't deny primaries from Necrons, so basically it was quite a very challenging matchup because this I knew that in the end this will be the other way around, so I will be in the last 2 turns I will be in total defensive and I will try to spur my characters, and I will probably in the end after the 5th turn I will just have my characters maybe one troop on board, and Necrons will just try to push me. And it was like that, but I managed to score a lot of points from the deadly performance, and I decided to go here for a psychic. Uh, yeah, it was Veil of Tears, I believe. The psychic Harlequins secondary, so it was pretty much out of 15 points from me. Yeah, so basically the ending results was here 9 to 11, so this exact same result that the opponent, the French Necron player, scored against Liam. And it was, of course, according to estimations, and when I decide to go for a defensive play, it should be like that. It should be either it will be 10-10 or 1 point in one or the other side. But I believe that here, if especially on this table, or because the table is quite dense, but with the mobile shooting, you can get easily angles to get targets for the shooting. So probably I just should have played this a little bit more aggressively. Because I could have used my bolts to, for example, shoot the Tomb Blades in the first turn to try to kill one Scorpex squads in the first turn. This could be very big for me. But basically, this would be a play that was relied on the shooting and on the rolling. So of course this is Necron. So just two or three resurrections too many, and then I'll be in very big trouble. So I just decided for a stable result and delivered this points for the team, because as we already knew that all the other tables were quite got a very good pairings.
So yeah, an expected score could have maybe been more if you went in more aggressively, but you got the result you needed, and that's all that matters. So that was day 2. So what was the mood in day 2, knowing that next day you will be playing the famed USA team?
Yeah, so yes, basically it was both Germany and France were teams that we played a lot on a TTS, so we knew the guys, and I must say that it was very nice to finally meet those guys in person and talk about this game. And yeah, it was some completely different experience than playing over TTS. So this was quite both, but nevertheless we already knew each other. So the games were very nice. So I wasn't very much tired after these games, and I was happy that I can just go to the hotel before 8, and actually I have some time to rest before the next day. So my mood was very optimistic, I think, on this. Because I just got 2 very nice games, and of course they were challenging, but I was very happy with the results, and then now I can focus on the USA and just run through the release and double check if I'm good with my estimations. But never, I was feeling optimistic for the next day. We took some time in the hotel to just refresh our estimations. So we talked about the pairings, and I think for that we prepared very well for the next day.
Okay, well, having said that, how did it go? The game against USA in the morning. You got paired with Hail of Doom again, piloted by Brad Chester.
Yes, so the next Hail of Doom, with the same attitude that they expected to win the game. So basically, the mission was very good for making big scores, because this was mission 1-2, so with bomb deployment. So there were no easy primary points from the mission itself. The list on the other side was quite similar for the way I faced before, but there was no wave serpent, no shining spears, but they got he had the second squad of banshees and 3x5 pikes, so shuriken output maximized to the limit. So this time, the Hail of Doom started the game. He decided, because I got just I exposed one boat for some kind of a bait shooting, just to have just to control the game, where he'll focus on, and where I can prepare some kind of a counter. He decided to go for that, but committed only 2 walkers and 1 squad of bikes to try to kill 1 boat. And on the other side, he deployed very defensively, but also gave me the opportunity to catch the second squad of bikes with some shooting. Unfortunately for Brad, he failed to kill this 1 boat that was exposed as a bait. And this was kind of a big for me, because I already knew that this boat, not only the players inside this boat, but also the boat can shoot on his rangers and his squad of bikes, and this will be a huge problem on the next turn for the opponent. Because on this particular flank, if I manage to kill what I want to kill, then he will need to commit his Dire Avenger squad not to kill the players, but to kill the boat, and the players will come to kill the Dire Avengers. Yeah, so basically this flank was planned. The other flank was there were striking scorpions and another walker exposed. So I moved, of course, after moving 22 inches. I committed 2 bolts on this side, and also pushed 1 bolts for super aggressively to catch 1 of his squads of bikes, which were also exposed for my shooting. Then I put the troop master in the middle, so after the shooting I can decide to put the troop master to charge to striking scorpions, 1 Baharot bikes, or the current dress, because he got 2 Phoenix Lords. There's the flank with the bikes and rangers, and was quite easy for me. I just spent a Fire Fate to get additional shooting to the bikes. So I after my shooting, I controlled totally this side. The other side was also easy. Just current rust was left, and 1 war walker were left there. I was quite unlucky in shooting to the bike, so I committed to my troop master for the bikes, of course, with within 6 inches of my bolt, so I can safely save the troop master from any counter. I tried here to shoot my Death Jester to the Baharot, just because if I manage to just get score 1 wound on the Baharot, then he will be down to 3 wounds, and the troop master can try to kill him in one go. So it was nice. Of course, I rolled 3 times 1 for the hit rolls here, but that wasn't important. I was lucky in one place, and the other place I was unlucky. The rolls were quite fair, maybe slightly in my favor, because I managed to spare this one important boat on my side. Yeah, so basically, the second turn of the after my aggressive play, this turn of the opponent, he tries to counter. Okay, he kills. In total, he killed 4 boats, so half of my boats were gone after his shooting, but he needed to expose everything to me, and in the end, it was a very good situation on the table for me. Because even if on this side where Dire Avengers needed to commit to the boat, they also decided to go to risk and charge my players. He needed to do something about that, and he wanted to count on the rolls to kill a couple of players before I get to the combat, but he failed to kill any, so I killed like 7 or 8 Dire Avengers from the squad in his turn. Then I pushed this squad to get the third squad of bikes. Basically, it was there was one situation on the table that I knew that I needed to kill 2 Phoenix Lords, and he deployed them in a way that he can heroic intervene. He can do some tricks. For example, with Baharot, if I do something very badly, then he can, for example, jump to my side, because on my home objective I just got 1 Shadow Seer left, so that was this kind of aggressive play. So I just keep the 1 Shadow Seer not screened by anything, but behind the ruin, of course, in my backfield objective, and push everything to the front. But I noticed that he got only 2 CPs left, so I decided to go with the first charge with 1 Death Jester to his Dire Avengers. Death Jester was already wounded; he was on 2 wounds. So I asked him, "Do you want to Overwatch?" Of course, he want to. So he made this Overwatch. Didn't kill the Death Jester at all. I failed my charge, but nothing of it matters. Now he's down to 1 CP, so I can do anything I want with
in combat.
Yeah. So I charged Baharot and bikes, then piled in out of the Baharot. I charged Karangras to kill him with mortal wounds, because he survived my. He managed to get up on Farad after my shooting phase. And on this stage, when I killed Karandras, get rid of the Baharot, there were no bikes, no Dire Avengers, no Banshees on the table, just a couple of Psychers, 10 Dire Avengers in the Deep Strike, and Bahar left on the table. So after my second turn, so in my third turn, this is basically game over. And the score was here 20-0, so yeah.
Did you play out the end, or?
Yeah,
Just...
I don't remember actually. Because the game after third turn, we played to the point that I killed the Baharot in one go. and he didn't get up. I managed to also kill all Psychers, so we just counted the points that he can score, and it was 20-0.
And put that score in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, it was a very nice game, and yeah, it was a pleasure to play with Brad, because it was complete the gentleman's game, and with play by intent, and no. Yeah, it was one of from this point, from the gentleman's play perspective, it was one of the best games in the tournament here. So.
Okay, well that's always good to hear, and this is how the game should be played, right?
Yeah,
Fully
exactly.
sportsmanship, etc. Yeah, just playing fair and square, right? And on to the final game against Australian Craft Worlds. This time a bit different. No Hail of Doom.
Yeah, so it was very interesting list. Because Australian guys decided to go for not standard lists, then they got something else. And here is one of the examples. Was this craft rules with the Hawks, Spears, Banshees, and 3 times Viper and 3 times Farseers. And based on this custom craft world that allows swooping hawks for advance and still battle focus. Basically, the opponent was. I always ask my craft world opponent what he thinks about the pairing before actually playing the game. It was very funny because he was also happy with the pairing. Okay. He selected the very good table for him, because it was the best possible selection for playing against Harlies, because there are no that there are a small number of angles that I can get in my first turn, and he can, if I go on full aggressive, then he can counter me very easily with everything he has. So it's basically, when playing the test, it was quite, in my opinion, it was the best possible table from the set to play this matchup for craft rules. But still, it isn't enough to win this pairing. It is maybe something to get some points from this. Okay, but here the difference is that he don't have that much shooting, but he has these 2 squads of swooping hawks, which can kill something from my side, and they can be very safe, because when moving at 14 plus 6 inches from the auto advance, then it's 20, so it's nearly my mobility on his side, and he can try to, if he's, for example, start the game, he can try to push them, shoot, fall back, and try to do some damage before I go. I managed to start the game here, but in my opinion, the opponent deployed too openly. So he puts the one Dire Avenger squad in a even of this on this table, when you can quite easily hide your units. He puts the Dire Avenger squad for shooting, swooping hawks for shooting, shining spears for shooting, and 1, 2, 3 is a small unit of 3 bikes for shooting, and also Vipers, but they didn't matter that much. So it was quite big, and I was quite shocked, and I not, but he pre-calculated it well. Because he got a very good counter from the other his units, so it was quite well calculated. But there wasn't an assumption that I will go full aggro to the front. So when I noticed that I got the opportunity to shoot at these targets, then I decided to go. Just all of my bolts were in the front, catching some angles and shooting. And after my shooting phase, I was quite scared because I rolled very, very poorly. I didn't manage to kill anything but three bikes, and of course the 3 bikes and Avengers. I didn't manage to get wounds on Shining Spears, which was very important, and I didn't manage to kill a lot of Shining Spears. No Shining Spears, the Swooping Hawks, which I could have do something. And it was quite a bad situation for me because he could have counter me in a way that I cannot actually disembark from my boats. I made a couple of positioning mistakes that I allowed potential or very big response from his side. Of course, still not for the winning the game on the other side, but it's the points are very important here. So basically, I was very unlucky here and made a couple of mistakes. I noticed that, and I was scared to use that. Fortunately, he didn't notice the potential of blocking me in my with for example his swooping hawks advancing on flat 6 but not jumping out after the shooting, just keeping them for blocking, and so such small decisions that could be very harmful for me. So basically this was the same scenario that in the last 2 games. I go to the front, kill something. This time I didn't manage to kill the important stuff. So he came at me with his full force. Still, okay, I lost like 2 bolts, two or three bolts, and 2.5 troops from but it wasn't enough. Just the rest of my army just managed to kill everything that was thrown at me. There's like some moments that for example, my DJ killing two shining spears in close combat, just for. But on the other hand, on the other side, just one Banshee Exarch with damage to upgrades managed to survive my shooting, and so in the end, the rolls after my first turn were quite even. But basically, the opponent then after the table cleanup. From my side, he played it very smartly. Because he already knew that he cannot win this game, so he decided to score points. He actually made quite surprising, but in my opinion, good selection of secondaries. So he selected the behind enemy lines. Of course, he tried to do ritual, but after my aggressive play, he didn't manage to have a turn that he could sacrifice one psyker to cast the ritual. So there was 0 points from this, but behind enemy lines for him was very good, because after the table cleanup, there was a couple of, for example, one lone Viper, one lone Farsiege Skyrunner left somewhere in the table, and my bolts, I got just 2 bolts which could potentially do something about them. So he managed to score a lot of points from behind enemy lines before I finally got to him and killed the last 2 models. And in this particular matchup, Troopmaster did his job, so he just killed up Psychers one by one with no saves and no potential defense. Yeah, and the final score was here 18-2.
Okay, well done. You've managed to beat all the craft worlds by far that were handed to you. One could say, because that's pretty. Each and every time they were the first defender, and they picked your Harleys.
Yeah, it was the first or second defender. And actually, it was this on all 4 pairings, so including France. And there was this situation that they came with craft rolls as a defender, and then we are delivering pick Harleys or Hell's Knights, and only France knew that they should have just select the Chaos Knights here, not the Harleys, because the Harleys was our trap for this. We played this matchup a lot of times. I even played this on the other side. So I played with craft rolls against someone's Harleys just to see if I can find some kind of a solution that's from the other perspective on this matchup.
Mm-hmm.
If Harleys decide to go with switched off the brain just to the front or full aggro style, then there's no chance. Of course, statistically there is some kind of a chance that Craftfuls will succeed in this, but it's highly unlikely to score any points from this matchup.
All right. So now, having told us about those games, what do you think of your individual performance? You happy with that as well?
Yes. From my perspective, I actually expected I counted this before the tournament. I expected to win four to five games, 1 lose and 1 draw, and I estimated my final result something like 19 to 100. Yeah, 19. It was 80 to 90 points. So it was over my estimations. I didn't expect to get the Hail of Doom style good pairing more than 2 times, because basically we all, of course, the other teams also spy on our results and see the results. So I expected if they find out that 2 times this Hail of Doom failed against Harleys, there must be some reasoning behind it. But I got lucky, so I got three times good pairing. There was one actually lost a game with Necrons in terms of win or lose, and 1 draw. So basically, I'm happy with individual results here. And as it was my first WTC, I'm quite happy, and yeah, well, I don't know what to say more.
Oh, good. And I think you should be. It's quite a result that you pulled off. So congratulations on that again. And what to ask now? So, are you planning to be the selector again? Do you want to be on the team again, or was that too much and you need to take a break for the time being?
So before the tournament, I was like, okay, let's do it. This game is so stupid. After the secondary last secondary changes, let's just finish this, and then I will skip playing, not play for a month, 2 or 3. That was my attitude before the tournament, and even during the tournament, it completely changed to the other way, to the other side. Now I'm full of energy, and I want to test. I want to play. I want to find solutions to make some conclusions from what we have done on WTC. Find out mistakes that we have done there during the pairing and during the games itself, just to avoid this doing it in the future. And of course, we are going to win the next year tournament. This is my target for now. To focus, to try to be a better player, to also as one who was involved in pairings. I want to also improve in this field of the team tournaments. So basically, my attitude is like, let's play this game. Let's improve. Let's prepare for the next year. And regarding your questions, do I want to be a selector? I would maybe. You will know the answer in a couple of weeks, probably. Yeah, but
Okay.
probably I will candidate. I like this role. As I took some a very big experience and also fun from this test games, training games, and the entire selection process. And you also played during one of the pairings, and I really encourage you to play when we organize the next pairings. Come to us and play with us. This is a lot of fun to test, even on TTS against the other countries.
Yep, it definitely is, and yeah, I'll definitely try and do that. So, last question I've got for you. I hear you're going to the LGT Invitational. How did that happen?
Yeah, I got some good friends. Let's call them the one called Typhus. Yeah, so he just arranged it so I can come and try to play in this friendly tournament just before the main event. And yeah, for now, I'm not sure what I will take them to the tournament. I just need to analyze the tables that are there, and I need to analyze what to expect from the opponents.
All right, well, fingers crossed, and I'll see you there in that case, as we're doing some coverage during those events. So, yep, that's that. Okay, Majson, thanks very much for coming in for the chat. That was very insightful again, and as always, lovely to have you. So best of luck for the future.
Thank you.
Right, and that was another of post WTC coverage episodes of Contact Lust. Please make sure to like, subscribe our content if you like it, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.